You guys ready to argue? You guys ready to argue? Let's do it. Share this with your friends now so we can argue and everybody can come and argue, right? Because boxing's dead. And that's why everybody's talking about boxing right now. Boxing's so terrible and so awful and so ridiculous, and nobody watches it, and viewership's so piss poor. That's why everybody's talking about it right now. That's why every single person who's into sports in any way is talking about it. Get out of here, people. More people are talking about this fight than any MMA fight I've ever heard of. The only other MMA fight that maybe was talked about on a level microscopically this big, Kimbo Slice. What is it? I think it's Kimbo Slice versus Shamrock. Is that the most viewed MMA fight in history? Do you guys know that Kimbo Slice is the most famous, most popular MMA fighter in the history of the sport? If you look it up. Right? Because when you're talking about average fans and average people who don't know anything about MMA, they've heard of Kimbo Slice. They know who Kimbo Slice is. They don't know who any of these other champions are. They don't know who Israel Adesanya is. They have no idea. They have no idea who Anderson Silva is. They have no idea who GSP is. They know who Kimbo Slice is, though. But boxing's dead, guys. Come on. It's been dead for 100 years. 100 years it's been dead. So everybody's talking about this sport that's dead, apparently. And people are mad about the decision. Yep, that's the one. Elite XC, Kimbo versus Shamrock card. That is the most watched fight in MMA history. Most watched by like a landslide. You think Forrest Griffin and Bonner did big numbers? Nope. They are not even on the chart compared to how many people watched Kimbo Slice and Shamrock fight. Kimbo is the most famous MMA fighter ever, way more than Conor McGregor. There are people out there who have no idea who Conor McGregor is still. I'm sorry. It's a fact. Just because you live in a bubble that watches MMA and knows who he is, if you're in a boxing bubble and know who he is because he fought Mayweather, still, those two bubbles are smaller than Kimbo. Everybody knows Kimbo, okay? He's the most famous. Sorry. McGregor doesn't hold a candle to Kimbo Slice's fame. And he died early, so he's a legend. No one's ever going to be able to touch that. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Just the way it is. So we get into this fight. I'm a big Lomachenko fan. I like Loma. He's awesome. You watch his highlight videos. I follow him on Instagram. He's a magician. The way he dances around people, the hand speed, unbelievable athlete. Unbelievable. The things that he has done in his career, the championships, the wins, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Okay. I am a much bigger fan of Lomachenko than Haney. I don't know much about Haney, but I watch Haney. I've seen highlight clips. I haven't ever seen a full fight of his before. I've seen the highlight clips. I follow social media where stuff pops up all the time. And I mean, I know who he is, but I think that fight was really close. I think that it was okay. I'd have to watch it again. But I wasn't upset with the decision. I wasn't upset with the fight decision. I think it was outrageous that they said it was 8 rounds to 4. I think 7-5 was much better. But those rounds were so close. Every one of those rounds was super close. The only 2 rounds that were hands down Loma were 10 and 11. Hands down. And he almost finished. But it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. I think it was close. I'd have to watch it again, but I wasn't upset with the decision. I didn't know who was going to win at the end. I definitely knew that Loma did way more work in rounds 10 and 11 and won more decidedly in those 2 rounds than any other round was won. You know, like I think that's one of the reasons why people think he won the most. The other aspect of that fight that I noticed that a lot of people may not is when you watch that fight, if you watch that fight again, if you have a chance to, watch Haney's body shots. I think that was a big underscored thing that was happening in that fight that judges were scoring because they were clean body shots. They weren't grazing almost type hits. There were a number of combinations of things thrown by Lomachenko, except I'm not talking about round 10, 11. Those were clean. Wapa, got him. That round he landed clean and caught him clean and did noticeable damage, changing the way that Haney fought and moved. Those other rounds, they were a little bit grazing. Like they were fast, really fast combinations, really fast hands, but they weren't all super clean. And I didn't see Haney wobble or make a misstep. You know, so yeah, there was like point scoring, like Olympic point scoring. He hit him not even with the full white of the glove, you know, like the Olympic point scoring, you hit the white of that glove to get the full point. I don't think he was landing at the full white of that glove, where I think Haney was to the body. So people, I think, were seeing blah, 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 and scoring that when Lomachenko is going blah, 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 and then Haney's got one whack. So you got the three fast blah, 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 punches from Loma and the one whack to the body from Haney. And I think that might have been part of why they leaned more towards Haney in some of those rounds, some of those close rounds. If you watch it back, maybe pay attention to that. Pay attention to the body shots from Haney. So I think that might have been one of the deciding factors that a lot of people don't notice. I think a lot of people underscore the body shots because people are raised on the movies and the television stuff and fake fighting stuff. And they think that every time you touch the head, oh, you almost killed him. When that one clean body shot is really the thing that does a lot of damage. So I don't know. What's the answer? I think longer rounds, maybe 4-minute round, maybe only 30-second breaks. If you want, you want to fix the scoring in boxing, you want to stop the complaints. You got to have a finish. You got to have somebody knocked out. You got to have somebody knocked down, somebody knocked out. So let's encourage the knockouts. Let's go back to 8-ounce gloves. Let's go to 6-ounce gloves. Let's go to 15 round title fights again. You get people want to complain about decisions, but you're not willing to make the changes that will actually fix it. You make the fights go to a finish. How about no round end? How about that? How about we don't have a set number of rounds. It goes until somebody's done. If it takes 25 rounds, it takes 25 rounds, bro. That's the thing. Those people aren't willing to actually make the changes that it takes to fix things. They just want to complain. Oh, boxing's dead. This is garbage. This is why nobody watches. Where? Show me the numbers. Show me the viewership numbers from 1998. Show me those viewership numbers and show me the viewership numbers now. Produce them. If you're going to make a claim like boxing's dead, prove it. What's your proof? You just have an opinion? I just think it because I feel things. Or do you have evidence? Because the only evidence that I've seen is the money. And they have doubled the amount of money that you're making. The industry of boxing has doubled the amount of money that it makes since 2000, since like 99, since the Ali Act was passed. How does something die? How is something dead if it's making twice as much money? How? There are more fighters now today, because I've seen those numbers too. There are more fighters, there are more events, there are more boxing events. So you have more money, more fighters, more events. On top of that, boxers make more money than MMA fighters do at every level, from their first fight all the way till champion. There's only one little hiccup. I've showed you that graph before. There's only one little hiccup, and that's because the UFC in that 10 and 10, it throws things off a little bit. There's one little hiccup where fighters at that level make a little bit more in MMA. How's it dead? How's it dead? The viewership, damn near impossible to judge how many people are viewing because you have so many different platforms that the fights are on. And those platforms aren't open and transparent with their numbers. They're not letting people see how many people are actually watching their events. So how do you know? Why? Where are you getting the numbers from? Where are you getting your evidence from? Where's the evidence? Produce the evidence. Produce the evidence or shut the hell up. Produce the evidence or shut the hell up. Because I've looked. I see no evidence anywhere that boxing's dead. More fights, more fighters, more events, more money, better pay than MMA fighters at all levels, except for that one little tiny fraction of fighters in the UFC. And the champions make way less than the champions of boxing. What's your evidence? Do you have viewership numbers that you can show me and be like, oh, well, look at the millions of people who watched the events in 98 that year. And look at the people who watched the events in 2022. You don't have those numbers. I can't find those numbers. If you can, I would love it. If any of you guys out there can find hard definitive numbers, I'll give you $100. All right. If any of you guys watching can find those hard definitive numbers for me, I'll give you $100 because I can't find the numbers. You can't. I don't think you can get DAZN's numbers. I don't think HBO is going to give you that stuff. Showtime. Are they going to give you the numbers? Do they put them out there anywhere? I don't think so. Where does the money come from then if boxing's dead? Why are they selling out arenas if boxing's dead? I don't understand. I don't understand your argument. Well, I feel that way because people agree with me when I say it. You guys are stupid. You're a stupid person if you really believe that. Sorry. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's dead. Is baseball dead? Is baseball dead? Does baseball viewership feel like it used to back in the 1950s? Does it? So baseball is dead? Is it? Crickets? Seems like they're making more money. Seems like they're doing all right. It seems like things are doing really great. But yeah, no, it's not the same. Baseball is not treated the same or viewed the same way as it was in the 50s. It still seems like they're doing fine. Still seems like baseball players are commanding a lot of money. Seems like those stadiums are doing all right. Seems like the owners are still driving Bugattis. Where are you getting this stuff? Whose ass are you pulling this opinion out of? I just really think you got MMA promoters' penises in your mouth, honestly. That's all I hear when you say that. Just, I'm talking promoter cock. Oh, goobers. Goobers, man. So yeah, if anybody can show me hard evidence to why boxing's dead, I'd love it. I'd love to see evidence. I'd love to see evidence that people are not watching it as much. What evidence do you have? Can you show me the hard numbers? Show me the hard numbers. That should be doable for you. Because I've seen John Nash's work talking about what the pay is and how it's increased and how much money they're making in that industry. Sounds like they're flourishing. Sounds like they're flourishing better than they ever have in the history of the sport. So where's the proof? Prove it. Put your money where your mouth is. Let's go. Come on, dummies. Come on, you dummies. Stupid dummies. I'm calling y'all stupid dummies. I'm trying to trigger some dumbasses to actually put some evidence forward that proves their statement. Please do it. Please humble me, dumbasses. They can't do it. They won't do it. It's not possible because it's not dead. It's flourishing. You just don't like it. Go in the corner and cry. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's not, but to say it's dead, get out of here. My opinion, I've voiced a number of times here before, is that the reason we struggle with boxing is because there are so many platforms to watch it on. If there was a centralized way to watch all of the fights together, that would be the best. If we could form a conglomerate or whatever of all the promoters signing together so we could have like one platform show all the boxing events, I guarantee boxing would take off in viewership even more, and a lot of people's attitudes would change in that sense. But it's really hard to find fights sometimes, you know, unless you're really plugged in. If you're plugged into that fighter and his social medias, and you're plugged into that promoter he signed with and that social media, and you're plugged into the independent titles and their social media, it can be difficult. It can be difficult to follow along. So I think it's harder for average people. That's the truth. I think it's harder for average people who aren't diehards to pay attention and know what's going on. And then that gives the dumbasses, the opinion that it's dead. It's because mom and pop aren't talking about it all the time because it's easy to watch and easy to find. But still, like, everybody's talking about this fight. Everybody's talking about this fight. A lot of people were talking about the Canelo fight recently. How is it dead? I just don't understand what you're talking about. Please help me understand. Please.